On the night of April 1st, 2006, a 27-year-old medical student walked into a bar near the Ohio State University campus. The bar was on the second single escalator. A camera at the top of the escalator captured him at 1:15 in the morning. He was with two friends. They went inside. 40 minutes later, he was talking with two women he had just met. He turned, walked back toward the entrance, and stepped off frame. No camera has ever captured him again. In the 19 years, no body, no witness, no charge on any card he owned, no signal from his phone, no trip taken, no call placed. This is what we know, and this is. Shaffer was born February 11th, 1979. He grew up in Pickerington, Ohio, just outside Columbus. He earned a bachelor's degree in microbiology from Ohio State in 2003. By the spring of 2006, he was a second-year student at the institution. The people around him described him in the same way: steady, serious, generous, hard on himself. His older brother Derek would tell reporters, in the years that followed, that Brian was the kind of person who held himself to a higher standard than anyone else thought to apply. He was dating another Ohio State medical student named Alexis Wagoner. Friends believed he was planning to propose to her on the trip the two of them were taking the next morning. The trip was Miami for spring break. A flight had been booked. Alexis had already driven home to Toledo to leave from there. 3 weeks before the night Brian disappeared, his mother, Renee Shaffer, died of a rare bone marrow cancer called myelodysplasia. The diagnosis had come quickly. The decline had come quickly. The funeral was March of 2006. Brian's father, Randall Shaffer, known to the family as Randy, was still alive on the night Brian vanished. He would spend the next 2.5 years searching for his son before he himself died in September of 2008 when a tree branch fell on him during a windstorm. But in the early hours of April 1st, none of that had happened yet. Randy was alive. Renee had been buried 3 weeks. The Miami flight was a few hours away. Brian was about to meet his friends for a last round. He told his brother Derek he wanted the trip to clear his head. Brian's last night in public began earlier than the cameras did. At about 9 in the evening on March 31st, 2006, Brian met his longtime friend, Clint Florence, at the Ugly Tuna Saloon, a bar on the second floor of the South Campus Gateway Complex on North High Street, near the southern edge of the Ohio State campus. The two of them spent the next several hours bar hopping through the area. Sometime after midnight, they met up with a third person, Meredith Reed, a friend of Clint's. The group ended the night a little farther north, in the Short North neighborhood. Around 1 in the morning, Reed drove them back south to the Ugly Tuna for a final round. At 1:15 in the morning on April 1st, a surveillance camera at the top of the escalator captured Brian, Clint, and Meredith stepping onto the second floor. They walked into the bar. The bar's main entrance was that escalator. The same surveillance camera that filmed them coming up could film anyone going back down. It ran continuously. There was a back service door inside the bar, used only by employees. It led to a first-floor hallway that opened into an active construction area attached to the complex. That construction area had its own exterior exit. The public did not use this door. The bar's surveillance did not cover it. Clint and Meredith later told investigators that the three of them sat at the bar and ordered drinks. They could not say exactly when Brian stepped away from them. They told police they believed he had said something about staying behind, but they did not remember the exact conversation. They had been drinking. At 1:55 in the morning, a camera outside the front of the bar, on the high street sidewalk, captured Brian Shaffer for what would turn out to be the last time. He was not inside the bar. He was on the sidewalk, talking with two women he had apparently just met. The footage shows him for a few seconds. He smiles. He says something. He steps out of frame. At around 2 in the morning, the bar began clearing out. Clint and Meredith walked back down the escalator behind. The bar closed at 2:30. Every remaining patron left. Every employee left. The cleaning crew. He was not on the escalator footage going down. He was not on the sidewalk camera again. He was not anywhere. The morning of April 1st, Alexis Wagoner called afternoon. Brian's family was concerned. By that evening, they were calling the police. He was officially reported missing on April 2nd, 2006. The Columbus Division of Police began their investigation immediately. Detectives went to the Ugly Tuna. They pulled the surveillance footage from the escalator from inside his last on-screen moment. They reviewed the footage frame by frame. The detective who would later become the public face of that review was Andre Edwards. In an interview with Columbus Monthly in September of 2014, Edwards said he could say with 100% certainty that Brian Shaffer did not walk back down the escalator. The review of the front camera had been exhaustive. Every patron leaving had been accounted for. Brian was not one of them. Investigators turned to the only other way out, the back service door, the hallway, the connecting construction area. They considered the theory that Brian, in some state of disorientation, might have crossed from the bar's interior into the construction zone and left the building through that path. This theory has been investigated. It has not been ruled in. It has not been ruled out. Were never used again. His phone, which was on him that night, never connected to another tower. His apartment was untouched. His passport was at home. His car was where he had left it. The flight to Miami was a few hours away, and he never came near it. He missed every class, every appointment, every friend's call. His father, Randy, set up a website called findbrianshaffer.com to centralize tips. For a time, it was the public-facing home of the case. The website is no longer online. The active family-adjacent presence today is a Facebook page that goes by Find Brian Shaffer. Brian's brother Derek has given the steady voice of the family. The case is publicly indexed as namus case number MP1709. Columbus police have said the case is, in their language, periodically reviewed. A retired sergeant, John Hurst, has continued to speak publicly about the investigation. The FBI has Brian Shaffer listed in its missing persons database. In 2020, the FBI assisted with a forensic facial recognition review on a photograph of a homeless man in Tijuana. Across 19 years, 4 theories have been seriously considered. We will not endorse any of them. We will name. The first theory is voluntary disappearance. Some investigators and observers have noted that Brian was, at the time of his disappearance, a young man carrying significant private grief. His mother had been dead 3 weeks. He was 3 weeks into his second year of medical school. He was about to leave on a trip he had not chosen for any obvious reason except to step away from the place where his mother had just died. According to this theory, Brian may have chosen to walk out of his own life. No body has ever been found in any of the searches conducted near the bar, the river, or the surrounding areas. No body, in either direction of this theory, has ever been found. The second theory is foul play. Brian's family, particularly his brother Derek, has long stated their belief that Brian met with violence that night. They have pointed to small inconsistencies in the early statements of those who were last with him. They have called for ongoing investigation. They have not accused anyone publicly. Columbus police have not named a suspect. The third theory is the construction exit. This theory holds that Brian, for some reason that has never been established, made his way from the bar, through the back service door, through the connecting hallway, into the active construction area attached to the Gateway complex. Did not see. Investigators have considered this path. They have not been able to confirm that he took it. The construction area was searched. No physical evidence of his passage was ever recovered. The fourth theory is the simplest and the strangest. It is the theory that says Brian did walk back down the escalator, that the camera was on, that his face was, somewhere in the recorded hours, on tape, and that the review, exhaustive as it was, missed it. Detective Edwards' 100% statement closes that door, but the camera, the room, and the recording were all made by humans. The footage exists. Investigators have looked. He is not on it. That, depending on the theory, is either the heart of the case or the answer. Brian Shaffer would be 46 years old this year. The Ugly Tuna Saloona is no longer in the South Campus Gateway complex. The bar moved in 2018 and reopened at a different address. The Gateway itself was rebranded the Gateway University District. The construction area is long since complete and built over. The Columbus Division of Police say the case is on its missing persons database. Namus holds the case as MP1709. Derek Shaffer has said in interview after interview, they do not need a prosecution. They need to know what happened. To this day, no one knows. The surveillance footage from April 1st, 2006 still exists. It still shows what it showed then. A young man, 27 years old, with a flight to Miami in a few hours, and a mother newly buried, stepping off an escalator into a bar he had been to before. A young man, 40 minutes later, standing on a sidewalk, under a streetlight, smiling at two strangers, entered. Ends. This is Buried Names, case file number 1. If you have any information about the disappearance of Brian Shaffer, .gov. The Columbus Division of Police Missing Persons Unit can be reached at 614-645-4545. The case is publicly indexed as namus MP1709. New episodes Tuesday and Friday.